Yeah, David Kidwell, I don't know too many players would be more passionate about South Sydney getting back on track and winning than David Kidwell, and I must say I feel a bit sorry for him that he wasn't running out again side by side with Roy Asotasi today. Kick-off time. Referee is Shane Hayne. Cowboys running right to left towards the northern end of the ground. And South Sydney, first use of the football just outside their own 10-metre line. First run of the day from Manikafoa, and now for David Kidwell, just inside his own 20-metre line, taken by Carl Webb. And the number 15 for the Cowboys is Sam Faust, who locks the scrum on the 30-metre line now as it comes away with their captain, Roy Asotasi. It's the sort of running we have grown accustomed to seeing from Asotasi. Oh, that was a hospital pass. And the referee's given a penalty against the markers for not being direct, but that pass to John Sutton is not going to do him any favours.
And Isaac Luke finds touch. These early moments important for South Sydney. One thing they must do this afternoon against Cowboys is build pressure. And that means that they've got to finish their sets well as Manikafoa takes it inside the 30. Great attacking position early, still 5 up their sleeve.
They've got a good record against the Cowboys in recent times. Both matches last year, including the match here, they won. As Asotasi rises 10 metres out, Nadira across for Luke. And now for Kidwell, thrusts it down for Vangana, and Vangana goes back towards the middle of the ground. Just keeping a fairly wide blind side available. Kidwell is there, but they go the other way. Away it goes through Thalongo, and it's gone over through Widders. Lovely pass from him out to Merritt. Slides away from a tackle, gets it to a couple of metres out. And Nathan Merritt playing the ball over there. Spun away now, and it's come out to Luke again. He rolls it in, it'll be too deep. So back to the 20 for the restart.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's not good enough. Wasn't the last tackle. The chasers on the outside didn't know it was coming, and just giving the football back and an easy restart for the Cowboys. No pressure whatsoever, and that continues to hurt them.
Cowboys with John Williams bringing that ball away from the 20-metre line.
Well, this is interesting. Carl Webb looked like he'd offloaded. South Sydney got in between the passer and the passee, but they've been called, I think, to have knocked on David Kidwell. See ya. I think it's gone backwards. Looked to play on to me. Shane Hayne disagrees. Cowboy feed.
So from the back of the scrum, it's picked up by Payne. And it's gone out to Justin Smith.
He got the serious face on Shane Hayne, hasn't he? He's a very dark look.
Now Ashley Graham takes it up to the 40-metre line. South Sydney's end of the park. And here's Carlos. Getting bigger by the day. It's a lot of him. Built close to the ground. Payne for Thurston to the 20-metre line. That's Cashmere. And then staying alive was Thurston. He plugs a little kick into the corner. It's come back and gone over the sideline.
What happened there?
I'm not too sure, but it seems to have come off a boot or it's fired out of a cannon, one or the other.
Yeah, you would assume someone to fall on the ball here, but they've just decided to get it out of play there. Nathan Merritt didn't go down on the ball at all.
He's not particularly impressed with the effort from Jermaine Paulson. He felt as though, Nathan Merritt, that it was Paulson's ball to get on and he had to make a late decision. That's why the boot went out.
So a great opportunity early for the Cowboys. Here's Payne again from the back of the scrum. Thurston showing it. Oh, beautiful pass. And the number 3, Ashley Graham, gets the first points of the day. Pretty work by Thurston, if that's a rugby league word. Payne again at the back of the scrum. 2 scrums in a row they did the same. And Thurston, lovely as he gave the final pass.
That is a nice move, isn't it? Scrum base. Involvement there. Thurston gets the pass in behind, then throws the dummy, and Ashley Graham running a great line into the gap. They have an embarrassment of riches with their centres. A lot of good young players in the line-up, and here's Graham coming straight on. Again, taking the defence by some surprise. Witters unable to cope with the straight run. And they take advantage of that kick put over the sideline by Merritt.
And again, having a forward, Dean Witters, playing in the 5'8" role, standing out of the scrum. Just not athletic enough to meet the demands of players like Thurston and Bowen, creating illusion and picking up the right man with the ball. Beautifully worked try. Even the empty seats were clapping that one when they scored.
Well, how long you been practicing that?
Well, there's a few empty seats here. Lovely try. Poor defence.
Thurston from close range to convert a try that he laid on. It is 6-0 in favour of the Cowboys early days against South Sydney. You come back to ANZ Stadium. The kickoff from Nathan Merritt is marked by Payne, who's having a busy day. This is Henry. Across to the 10-metre line in front of his own uprights, down the southern end of the ground. Talking of southern, that's him with the ball now. And the dummy half is Justin Smith. Just a handoff to Ray Cashmere, who proved on Friday night that persistence will take you there eventually. He's been around in the game for something like 10 or 11 years and got a rep jumper from Friday. Southern, through some very ordinary defence. It's like they were forming a guard of honour for him. Now it's away for Thurston, a floating pass hits Farah, and Farah gets away from another ordinary attempt at tackle. Now it goes back to Thurston, and on the fifth tackle, they play the ball inside the South Sydney 30-metre line. Payne at first receiver, Bowen out at second. He puts a kick up neatly over to the other side of the ground. There's a race for the ball. And the South Sydney number 2, Tamanika, comes down with the ball. His Merritt. So South bringing it away. Just outside the 20-metre line. One community today supporting the Children's Hospital foundations around Australia. And you can be of assistance to those people that do all that good work by going to the net. And that, of course, was bottom of screen there for you as Thurston runs across the ground, almost running towards his own goal line, before offloading the ball to Williams.
After Isaac Luke's second kick of the afternoon was charged down, and again, a poor end to the set. North Queensland now just the second tackle against them. Already 45 metres from the opposition line with Webb offloading to Cashmere. Cashmere and Southern been outstanding for them so far this season.
This Faust taken down on the 30-metre line by Sutton and Asatasi. His Payne going behind Webb and going out to Smith, and Smith takes the South Sydney defence on the 20-metre line. Play towards the eastern side of the ground. Kidwell was the main tackler. Short side play, Bowen. Thurston wrapping around. They've made an extra man on that short side. Tackle over there is John Williams. And from there, it's come from Graham. Gone to Thurston, off to Bowen. Bowen kicks. He goes high, and it comes down safely with a player that has grounded the ball in goal. It's a line drop out. He's left the field of play. Jermaine Paulson.
Yeah, beautifully weighted kick there from Matty Bowen. Brought it down in the field of play, so Paulson had to leap and then get back into the end goal. Look at that. That's inch perfect. Beautifully placed. Gives his team a chance, gives the opposition no chance. The only result is a try or to get the ball back from the line dropout. Jonathan Thurston very busy in the opening stages of this game. You would think with a test match only 4 or 5 days away, he might save himself a little bit. Not this man. Here he is again.
And here's Webb. Not fast for a man, the build of him. Now Southern coming back on the inside of a ball from Smith, and here's Payne, and then Cashmere. And at the moment they're just throwing it around, looking very confident looking very good, but Souths haven't really hit them with too much in defence. And eventually Faust knocks on in front of goal. And a scrum will pack 10 metres away from the uprights at the northern end.
Well, that didn't look like much, but I'll tell you what, if he catches the ball, he'd have nearly gone straight through. There was only arms in front of him.
It's great footage, as you see the reaction from Faust when you have a look at that. Aaron Payne again looking behind but throwing the ball in front. The sleight of hand, the deception from dummy half these days is exceptional.
6-0 then in favour of the Cowboys, and Souths should win this scrum, packing 10 metres away from their own line. Graham, the try very early and converted by Jonathan Thurston. Ben Aiken is on the sideline today.
Well, it's a great afternoon for rugby league, but it hasn't been a great start to the day for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I would have expected them to come out here against the Cowboys and really start on fire with plenty of energy, plenty of urgency, but it's been a bit lacklustre. A lot of people falling off tackles, Cowboys getting yards all too easy. That intensity needs to lift if they're going to really make a go here this afternoon.
So on the back of the run from Bo Champion, players now with David Kidwell on the 40-metre line. Madeira goes across and picks up Asatasi. And a penalty goes to South Sydney.
Oh dear, oh dear. Tackle 5, that's a bad one. That was a bad one, just holding down. Asatasi straining. Well, he wasn't trying to get up and play it, he was trying to milk a penalty and succeeded. But it gives the Rabbitohs a chance. They've got to throw caution to the wind a little bit here. Get every player involved, everyone moving forward at the same time.
Here's Manakafoa. Up to the 10-metre line. And across to Asatasi. Then to Valongo. 5 away from the line. Madeira for Isaac Luke. Defend from Sutton. He puts it down to Bo Champion. Champion has scored. He'll point to the spot. It's a try for Bo Champion. A try for the red and greens. And a conversion to come.
And now South Sydney take advantage of some good fortune. Got it, a penalty on the last tackle. And then John Sutton, who was very good on Friday night. Look at the footwork, attracted 2 defenders and the big left arm carry offload to Bo Champion, who makes sure he gets the football down despite some attention. It's important that when a side scores against you that they aren't the side to score next. Well, South Sydney have hit back.
And that's what you need, a little bit of natural talent there. Instead of just rolling through with rehearsed plays and hoping you find the gap, use the player's ability to unload the ball, pour into the hole alongside of him and scream for it. John Sutton's got that ability. He's able to stand up the man on the inside, attract the man on the outside, and then with strength and talent, pop the ball around the corner with the left hand, and Bo Champion supported him. That's the sort of football that skillful players are capable of. Come on, son, kick this.
So Isaac Luke is 20 out and 10 in from touch, and it's staying on the line, and he's got it. Converted by Luke, the try of Champion. Sunday football on 9, and 6 points all the score, with David Kidwell spinning around and setting his compass, then heading up the ground to be tackled by Henry. Now it's the turn of Manakafoa. Just outside the 30-metre line. Vangana, Widders away for Longo. He will play the ball 35 metres out from his own line. Madeira, and then Asatasi trailing him. Madeira again. Then for Luke. Now for Sutton. This is Champion. He's cut down by Ashley Graham. As the ball comes away now from the wing on the left side, and Luke puts it up in the air, and that's a mark in the in goal for Bowen.
Look at Sturlo shaking his head there. How many's that? How many bad kicks is that now at the end of the sets of 6?
Well, that's 3. One went dead. One kicked into the opposition player. And that one... Look, the idea is good. Had to go high, but it had to stay in the field of play.
This is Williams. Product of Parramatta Junior League at the Pez District. Same club as Heath Lestrange from memory. Here's Carl Webb. To the 40-metre line, south end of the park. Thurston. And Nathan Merritt from his own in goal. Just outside the 10-metre line. Tananika, the boys tell me. That's the way to pronounce it. Champion. What are you laughing at? I'm talking to you.
You call everyone champion. I thought you were talking to us.
Here's Kendall. Luke. Picked up in defence by Ray Cashmere. Debuted, as I said, back in '99 with Western Suburbs. And then got a rep jumper last Friday night. It's a nice story. Here's Williams. Taken by Bo Champion and by John Sutton. Justin Smith waits. And Graham taken Dean Widders and then floated away from Widders. And then Widders looked at the referee as if to say, what are you doing?
Well, I think they called Widders offside, so
Okay.
Widders didn't get involved.
Here's Kidwell, and Vangana loses it behind him. Kidwell again, taking play narrowly into Cowboys territory. Vangana, then Luke, now Asatasi. And the 12 went in to make the tackle for the Cowboys. Ben Harris, who's playing in the second row today. Away from Isaac Luke to Dean Widders, a short ball for John Sutton. He thrusts it down. It's picked up by Luke. He weaves his way forward. 25 away from the Cowboys line. It was in this game, in fact, last year, where Isaac Luke suggested he might be a superstar. The ball is lost by Cowboys, but regathered when knocked backward. He really peppered the Cowboys last year, forcing Jason Taylor to say he is a superstar of the future, but we have to keep his feet on the ground.
Well, again, no lack of effort this afternoon from South Sydney in the opening 17 minutes. And they're starting to excite me now. They look like they're here to really try and do something about the start of the season. Execution hasn't been great, but the effort is there as Thurston. A couple of dummies.
He throws the dummy, and he splits through. Here comes the support runner, and it's young Harris, the second rower. Centre on Friday, second row today. No, he's not going to penalise, surely.
No.
He's given the penalty to the Cowboys. There was no dummy half.
He's going to say that Luke never got square. He's going to say he came from the side. His play continues.
That's a terrible penalty.
So they're on the 10-metre line now, the Cowboys. Playing it as Sam Faust. Then it comes from Payne. Thurston away for Bowen. Steps away from one. Goes back to Thurston. Then he calls Harris around him. Ben Harris to play the ball. Just out from the try line. A couple of metres away. Payne sweeps it back to Thurston. Back to Bowen. Bowen. Did I see a grimace? Did I see a grimace on the face of Bowen? I did. Now it's gone to Thurston again. Over it comes for Sam Faust. So South Sydney's online defence. It's been a weakness. It's being tested now. Here is a charge by Webb. He's got it down. Carl Webb, a try for the Cowboys.
Well, Carl Webb, on the back of confidence out of making test selection, really was not going to be stopped here. Thurston through 3 dummies. Finds support in Harris, and this is the penalty. The referee saying Isaac Luke never got around in front. I think he's right.
No, he's right. He is right. I take back what I said. For a moment, though, I thought he penalised simply because they had no dummy half. And I thought the error was totally Cowboys. Webb gets the try, Pete.
And we've given plenty of raps to Sam Thaiday in the last couple of weeks. Well, that occasion, Carl Webb showed the same kind of desire to get across. He had players in front of him, but he was more keen to score, and they were able to stop.
Thurston from right in front will boot the Cowboys out to a 12-6 lead. And that he does. So the scoreboard now at 12-6 in favour of the Cowboys after 21 minutes.
Yeah, hey, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Yeah.
Nathan Merritt restarting this game. Round 8 match from ANZ Stadium with the Cowboys leading 12-6. And Graham runs away from champion, but that ball has travelled forward. And here's a chance for South Sydney.
Well, that's a restart that the Cowboys used quite successfully against Melbourne last week, moving the football, designed to spread the defence, but also to make the second and the third rucks easier. And it went awry that time. John Williams unable to control the football. Matt Bowen received some attention when Webb was scoring. Came into this game with a swollen knee, almost missed it. And he's still not great at the moment.
6:30 tonight following National 9 News. We'll have 60 minutes an hour early. And then the Logies red carpet at 7:30. Here's Dean Withers. Tackled in centre field, just inside the 20-metre line. Can they come back to level? There's Kidwell. 10 metres out from the line. George Nadera. Now it's with Manakafoa. He's able to get it back. Nadera's there, waiting like an obedient dog. Tackle just outside the line. Kidwell floating it for Longo. Still close to the line. Graham is calling for help that side where they're gone. Luke away. Merritt gets it on. Champion will get number 2. Bo Champion scores his second try of the day. Well, that's where Ashley Graham was firing flares. He was waving. Not goodbye, but it was help out here. Immediately, somebody, please.
Now, this is shaping as a good contest. South again hit back, and it's an Ashley Graham run for the first try. Against the grain, coming back inside, and Champion, who's got a very athletic figure, tall, quick, comes back into the hole, steps inside Thurston, and gets across. We may well be locked up if the conversion is successful.
So this team hasn't won a game, South Sydney. They're running last. I've seen a lot worse teams than them, though, in that position. I've seen them a few times this year. They were in close games. They should have won. Just haven't been able to get it done. They're their own worst enemy a lot of the time. They played a terrific game against the Broncos the last time I saw them. And
they were a hell of a lot more competitive against the Broncos than were the Cowboys.
Yeah, I just think that whether it's a lack of confidence or self-belief or falling down on the basics at the back end of the set of 6, as we've seen it here a few times today, if they can just tidy up a couple of things, they'll win a game.
There he is. There's Zach Luke. Similar kick to before to convert Champions number 1. He's got number 2. It's 12 points all. 24 minutes gone. Jason Taylor's team back to level. Ben Eichen on the sideline.
And there he was, my old captain, up in the coach's box. If you happen to see his team get across The white line, I tell you, the thing about the Rabbitohs, I think that fools most people, is the fact that they can pile on the points. They can score some great tries. There's no doubting that. They've got plenty of talent in their lineup, but this is where it hurts them. They can't get into the grind consistently. They've got to go now here, complete this set, get to kick, back it up with some good defence, and do it over and over again and wear down the Cowboys outfit, because I'm telling you, their defence isn't as strong as it should be today. There's holes to be found if the Rabbitohs can play some good football.
Asatasi, he's looking good today, Roy Asatasi. He's been a bit quiet by his standards. And now here's John Sutton, getting it up towards halfway. Nadira, Asatasi, then Manakafoa. And he will play the ball just outside the 40-metre line. Tackle number 5. Nadira again. Will he kick? Yes, he does. He kicks for himself. Ball bounces favourably for South Sydney. Luke lofts the ball away. Vangada for the corner. Vangada will score. Brilliant work, George Nadira. Great work, Isaac Luke. Well finished, Nigel Vangada.
And Ben Eichen is exactly right. They can score some exciting tries, and there is evidence of one. And George Nadira, the last tackle, he wanted to throw the football back to a kicker, but like all good dummy halves, when he saw no defence coming up, he thought, well, I've got to take up the metres. And then chips over, gets a good bounce for a teammate who is in support, and that is Isaac Luke. Throws the pass, it's touched, it would have been 6 again anyway. And Nigel Vangana, just his second week back after a rest. David Kidd was screaming at him, go! He was never going to use the unmarked man on the outside. He was always home Vangana, and he's happy.
He showed a bit of pace too. Little Georgie Nadira. Now, Georgie Nadira's mum's my florist out at Sylvania. Every time I'm going to send flowers, she looks after me with the flowers. Hard-working family, but George Nadira, terrific kid. And hasn't he found a home for himself there in the hooking role at the Rabbitohs? He's been coming off the bench, gets a start today and playing some terrific football. Little chip and chase, you love that. Throw it out the back. That's the way Souths play. A little bit of footy, throw it over the top, dance around. Good stuff.
Isaac Luke, 5 metres in from the western touchline this time. Strikes it. It's getting away. Is it? No, it's there. It's in for another converted try for the Rabbits. 18-12, Ben Eichen.
Look, there's not a huge crowd here, but whoever's here is right behind me, and they are screaming their hearts out. They're loving this. I just want to quickly talk about this guy, Nigel Vagana. He came back last week, had an absolutely ripper game against the Brisbane Broncos, but in partnership now with some of those leaders I spoke about before the game, Asatasi, Kidwell, and even John Sutton, who had a big game on Friday night in City Country. They've got to lead the way. They've got to set the example for a lot of these younger blokes in the team.
Manakafoa bringing it back. This is Paulson, number 5, just inside the 30-metre line. Then Nadira finding Kidwell, and Kidwell going back to Folongo.
They're galloping onto the ball now, aren't they?
Then Winners, then for Asatasi. Comes to Justin Smith, he reels away. Gets the pass down to the feet of Bo Champion. And Cowboys ball. But they are breaking through and they're making opportunities. Williams playing the ball now for Payne. 17 is Daniel, it's Dane Weston, I should say. Just for a moment I thought it was Daniel Abraham who's joined the Cowboys this year. First in. Young Weston out there, I think he was with Cronulla. Cashmere just bullocking his way ahead. Was driving with the big legs. Payne. Smith. And that is Abraham with the ball now. In jumper number 21. Southern. So can they muscle up on their own line? Payne. Bowen. Thurston. Dummies a couple of times and finds Farah. That is the turnover.
Well, that was better defence. And the turnover at the other end of the field where South Sydney turned it over, I don't mind that. I don't mind taking some chances with the ball. But when you do make mistakes, you've got to back it up with great defence like this. Thurston across the field, they had them all covered. No panic at all. Rounded them up easily. If you defend like that, you can take a few more chances when you've got the ball.
Champion again. Centenary Test next Friday night from the Sydney Cricket Ground. And that telecast at 7:30, live and exclusive, live into Sydney, Brisbane and to Melbourne. So Melbourne taking the Test match, the Origins and the Grand Final live this year. This is Henry. Henry running along the 10-metre line before he actually slipped over. And was claimed over there by Polongo. Now they're on their own 20-metre line, the Cowboys. And Farah looking for a run. Vangana comes up out of the line and snaps the young bloke down. Ben Harris. Payne, Thurston. Two decoys angling in. Out they go again. Bowen away. Graham is with it. And Bowen on the run, picks it up. Justin Smith then to John Williams, but it finds the sideline.
When you watch the Cowboys play in Townsville, they're a high-energy team. They look quick, they look skillful. When they come to Sydney to play, they never look the same. They always look a little sluggish, and the ball never quite finds the hand. You can't put your finger on it.
They still are overcoming that perception of being a home side, aren't they? Far superior in Townsville and away. And how much has our game has changed? This is the first daylight game they played in 2008. Used to be a novelty playing at night. Now it's what they do.
Here's Kidwell trying to break through. 35 metres away from the line. Kidwell back to Vangana, and Kidwell is clutching at his left shoulder. Now it's with Ridders. And then goes to Sutton. There's that one-handed pass from Sutton. It's gone to ground. And it will be a scrum and a feed for the Cowboys down on the 20-metre line.
They've put Champion into a hole twice in that left-hand corridor there for 2 tries. There was a really good chance there for Sutton to go long to his winger. He's bringing the opposition winger in now. You watch Champion will hit his normal hole. See how his winger's unmarked on the outside?
It's time.
Yeah, now they've got to set him up for the long ball. The winger for the Cowboys is coming in. Sutton has got to get away from the short pass and play longer.
The only difficulty for him, Gus, is that he's such a strong carry with the one arm, the left hand. It's almost got to be a basketball pass to get it out there. He rarely uses the right hand in passing the football, John Sutton. But as you saw, as pointed out, there's opportunity on the outside if he can get that pass away.
We'll just swap places with doing Winless for just a little while. Just one player. Let Dean Witters run that play.
Sam Harris. Or Ben Harris, I should say. Now Payne. To the right side. For Thurston to run to the defence and then kick. And Merritt off his own line will succumb to the tackle. Tackle by Farah. Vangana finding Paulson. He's cagey, isn't he, Nigel? He found plenty of pace to put the ball over the stripe at the other end. But when it comes to running the ball out, he just basically designates these young wingers. Come on, this is yours, this is yours. Old Nigel, he just lobs along, designating the workload.
You don't have a guard dog and bark yourself, do you?
There's another one that just produced today.
Pretty sure I saw a guard dog sitting in an empty seat down there earlier.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the empty seats and the guard dogs. This is going to go dead. And we'll take a break and come back to Rugby League headquarters in just a moment. We're back at ANZ Stadium. It's 18-12 with South Sydney leading the Cowboys. They've won their last 2 encounters against them. And they're looking okay. Ball played by Weston, and then Payne gave it to Thurston, and Thurston gives it to Henry. And Henry goes back and runs into Vangana. And they very seldom get past him in that department. Here's Farah going across. Rifling it to Thurston. Thurston to Justin Smith. A couple of metres on the South Sydney side of halfway. Bowen for Webb. And Carl Webb will play at 36 metres out from the South Sydney line. Payne, Bowen. Bowen stabs a kick in towards Merritt. It'll go dead in goal, and it's a 20-metre restart.
Gee, that tackle count went quick. Felt like it was one short, or they were just going sideways and not doing much with it. And Matty Bowen kicks one dead now.
George.
They're handling it okay, the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, all of a sudden, it's now the Cowboys' end of set decisions or execution that aren't coming up with a lot of pressure for the opposition. I think really important now that South Sydney steel themselves and go in at halftime in front. Do wonders for them coming out in the second 40 minutes if they've got their nose in front and something to defend.
Put another one on it. Get 24-12 in front.
Play by Champion. Kidwell's pass, finding Folongo. Just short of halfway. 14 is out there for South. That's Bo Falloon. And almost for Manakafoa, was it, from Dean Widders? It was Dean Widders, in fact, the runner. Now Falloon, just inside the 30-metre line. Widders a dummy half. Now for Isaac Luke. He puts a kick over. The jumper's on, the bat down. Comes down to Thurston. Roy Asatasi, a diving save.
Oh, very important ankle tap, that one from Big Roy. He'll do a lot of things in this game, but nothing more important than that one. Thurston was off and gone, and he just gets his hand to the boot. Good stuff from the big fella.
Through from Smith now, out to Abraham. There's a lot of players are losing their footing out there today. Lots of people slipping over. Justin Smith on the halfway line. Played back for Bowen, a dummy half for Thurston. Taking 3 men with him down the short side. He's put away by Widders. Now for Steve Southern. And he and Webb went through together. Southern unable to get a pass away. Working in traffic. Then from Smith. To the right for Thurston. And a neat kick. Tamanika's underneath it. He's got it safely. Not an easy job at the best of times. Certainly not on debut. Now Merritt.
It's pretty much all the wingers do at training these days. Stand in the corner and people kick to them. Harass them. And they stand out deep and people kick for him to chase. You need those leapers out wide.
Kidwell. Luke Stewart is on for the Rabbitohs. Now Vangana. Just outside the 30-metre line. Weston makes the tackle with Webb. Now for Luke. And Luke gets a kick away, but it's gone straight to Henry. And Mark Henry goes back and throws a pass that bounces twice.
He sent that airmail, didn't he?
He certainly did. Williams, the other ringer, finished up with the ball. And now Henry, almost an apologetic run. Webb, out the back for Justin Smith. He seemingly has been going to go back to America and become a full-time Cowboy. Grubbing kick through by Watt. Or Watts. Here's Nathan Merritt. Swerving, running, dodging, still going. Merritt down to the halfway line.
Well, what happened there? It looks like a dance step. They both went down on their knees and bowed to each other. And then Merritt got up and ran. We'll show it to you in a minute.
Falloon. 90 seconds of the first half to go. Here's Widders. Holds it back. Fourth tackle. Let's see if John Sutton does what Phil and Peter were talking about. Here he is. Now he turns it in for Champion. 15 away from the Cowboys line. Last. Luke puts it up. Again the aerial. Marked in goal.
20-metre.
By Mark Henry.
Now what's this kick from Anthony Watts? Once he gets out of dummy half, puts a little one in behind the line.
She took it before I blew the whistle.
Go back and take the 20-metre tap again.
South Sydney need to watch the early kick here. The attack and kick. This is what we're talking about with Watts going through.
He goes through, and as he gets a little bit of a bump in running now, he'll go down on his knee, and he does a bit of a curtsy. And the other bloke goes down on his knee and does a curtsy, and then they get up and play on. Bow to your partner.
Thurston for Bowen.
Make the decision, champion.
Anthony Watts a dummy half. Thurston running to the line. South Sydney caused that trouble, and there's 6 more now with Daniel Abraham to play the ball.
And this should be the last play of the half.
Short side play for Thurston, and again it finds the sideline. So the end of the first 40 minutes. 5 tries scored, and all of them converted. 18 to 12. The Rabbitohs in front at the break. Can they hang on against the much more fancied Cowboys? We'll see the second half in just a moment.
Well, I'm down here with injured Souths halfback Craig Wing now. That wasn't a bad first half from your boys.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The guys are running pretty hard, and you know, we seem to get a few quick play the balls, which our hookers are going off the back of, and we're really starting to get a little bit of momentum.
Now, it's been a big week in the press for the team, but it's an even bigger game here today, isn't it? None from 7. You think a win here this afternoon would inspire some confidence going forward.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the guys have been training really, really hard and really putting in, and everyone really wants us to move forward, but you know, you can only go so long without getting a result, so hopefully today will be our first one.
Now, what about the coach, mate? What do you have to say at half-time?
I mean, just a bit more of the same, try and shore up our defence a little bit. I think we're a bit scrappy in a few areas, and they're getting a bit of a roll on, and we don't really want to get caught into the game that they love to play, which is going from side to side and quick play the balls and offloads here and there. So it's just a matter of trying to have a little bit of composure.
And now, what about you? How's the shoulder?
Yeah, it's coming along really well. I got out of the sling last week, so hopefully I'm 5 or 6 weeks away. I'm not quite sure yet.
Good on you, mate. Go and enjoy the second half.
Cheers, thanks, mate.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, and thank you to Craig Wing. We tend to forget, don't we, that that's the major problem that Jason Taylor has been dealing with. Craig Wing, of course, one of the biggest off-season purchases, and he was to remedy the problem around the scrum base for the South Sydney side. But he unfortunately was injured in that opening round against the Roosters. Benji Marshall, of course, suffered a similar fate on the opening weekend. It has been a season bespattered with injuries and, of course, with some pretty ordinary weather at the same time. And now, of course, we're into the rep season, so we've got plenty of teams having byes as well. But South Sydney leading by 6 points as they prepare to run to the northern end of ANZ Stadium to register for them, hopefully, their first win of the season. Second half underway. Off the boot of Nathan Merritt, and it's a kick of full volume as it's taken by Thurston. He goes away to Mark Henry, who's tackled 12 metres out from his own line. Plays it back to Anthony Watts, one of several replacements that came on about 2/3 of the way through that first half. This was one of them, Weston. Now for Carl Webb. And you notice with Webb, unlike a lot of other big front rowers, he always puts a little bit of work into his approach. He always puts in a step or something, trying to keep them guessing and to take a bit of heat out of the impact. Now it's on for Thurston, and he puts it down towards Nathan Merritt, who's been well placed, well positioned back at custodian. He'll play it back on the 20-metre line, his own end of the ground, as the number 2 goes away, Tamanika. 25 out from his own line. Widders passing, and it goes over to Bo Champion, and Bo Champion almost buried under the shoulder of Carl Webb. High pass out then for Isaac Luke, who not only took the pass, but nearly made a break. 10 metres short of halfway. There's the tackle on replay. He was driving, and that was a brute big hit from Big Carlos. Now the kick out from dummy half by Falloon. And it is spun away by Bowen. Back again for Henry. And Henry runs into a two-man vice-like tackle by Stewart and Widders. Now Anthony Watts. And Stewart is able to make that tackle right on his own 30-metre line. Now it's Ben Farrer. Tackled on the 40-metre line. 6-point ball game in favour of South Sydney. This is John Williams. Right on the halfway line. Watts going behind Southern over to Thurston, and Thurston goes across to Ben Harris, and Harris is picked up and put down on the 40-metre line. South end of the park. Watts to Thurston. Thurston's kick came off a rabbit, went away to a Cowboy, went to another Cowboy. Thurston gets it away. Anthony Watts thrusts the pass, knocked on by Henry, with a try waiting for him.
Well, there was 5 brilliant passes there, and the last one was an absolute shocker. And a try will go begging. What's this little interchange of passing? The ricochet, and up it comes. They know it's probably the last. Bowen flicked up out the back. Thurston flicked up out the back. Watts breaks through, and he goes for the one-armer. What is that, Mr. Watts?
The light globe obviously went out. Played by Sutton now. Back on his own 20-metre line. Here's Luke continuing to ask questions of them. Tackled by Weston.
When you are struggling, they're the little things that you want to go your way. South Sydney dodged a bullet. Unfortunately, they've shot themselves in the foot on this occasion, losing the football.
Apart from that little rush of passing, though, the Cowboys have not come out of the dressing rooms as fired it up as you would think. Referee's having a little look here. Well, there's Atazi losing the ball, whether or not there was a hand in there. I think he lost it before any hand from Anthony Watts became involved. We'll pack a scrum. I don't know, Sterlo, what do you think? I mean, I don't feel it from the Cowboys.
No, they've shown how dangerous they can be just in that little passing exchange that we saw. And they are the kind of side that might not be going anywhere, and then all of a sudden Jonathan Thurston will do something a little bit brilliant. But South Sydney, on what I've seen, pretty much for the full 45 minutes so far, deserve their lead, have more energy and enthusiasm. But now they've got to come up defensively because they've had a couple of shots against them in the opening couple of minutes here.
David Kidd will penalise there for not getting away from the man endeavouring to play the ball. And the Cowboys launching an attack through Weston initially, 15 metres away from the South Sydney line. Here's Watts going back behind, running forwards to Thurston, to Bowen. Bowen gets it back, and Cashmere out very, very wide, was it? No, it was Justin Smith out very wide. He was tackled, played the ball. Thurston puts it on with Webb, and Webb is tackled 10 metres out from the line. Third tackle gone, and the Cowboys with Anthony Watts. Fourth tackle, and they're still a couple of metres from the line. Bowen, long for Thurston, short and back on the inside. Weston, now for Bowen, shows it to Abrahams, gets the pass away out to Graham, and Graham will be put away on tackle 5. So Williams is the dummy half. Then it's Bowen, now it's out for Thurston, they come out of the line. Kidwell was one of them, he puts in a little kick, and Asatasi's got the ball for the Rabbitohs. The ball is lost and Vungadar has to go back, and Vungadar retrieves the rolling ball 12 metres out from his own line. That is Paulson.
And so important now that South Sydney get to their kick. Can't be defending against your mistake here in the next minute or so. Another one or two and drive it down the other end.
So Falloon going to John Sutton, and he's tackled on number 3. Bo Champion, a run from dummy half, why not?
Good run.
To the halfway line. Played again back to Falloon, going to ground, passes. Isaac Luke gets it away to Nathan Merritt. Merritt's down to the 10-metre line. He's still going now, he's pulled down. A couple of metres up from the line. 5 gone for the Rabbits as Widders gets a pass away, and it's a penalty to South Sydney. They weren't back behind the try line, is the ruling by Shane Hayne.
They've got to have both feet behind the line. They don't penalise every time it happens. But on the last play there, when a try was in the offing, Hayne has gone to the letter of the law and come up with a penalty for the Rabbitohs.
They are going for more than 2 here, Phil.
Yeah, good shot. I like that. They know they've got to score points to win, and they've got the Cowboys where they want them. The Cowboys are disappointed because they didn't come up with points at the other end. Hurt them now.
The Rabbitohs with Falloon sending Stewart ahead, and the big fella goes to grass 3 metres out from the line. Falloon again, a little bit slow, out to Falongo, and he will play the ball in front of the uprights. Still there, 2 away, Falloon. He's a dig himself, there goes 1.
Far sides to go, they got to go right, they've come the wrong way for mine.
Merritt taken down. The end of 4 tackles for South Sydney. Then from Champion to Stewart. He's not the man that you want with the football on tackle 5. Now Falloon. Now with Luke. They rifle it away to Winners. Out to Vongana. Puts a kick in. Ricocheted off the Cowboys. And he's restarted the tackle count. Winners is with the ball. Dean Winners tackle in front of the uprights. 7 metres out from the line. Tackle count restarted. Luke grabbed by Justin Smith and taken to ground. Champion. The 15 is McPherson. And still the Rabbitohs 3 metres from the try line. Falloon away to Stewart.
What a tackle, Daniel Abraham.
Merritt. It goes out to Luke. It goes on to Winners. Winners is so close, and again, they're 30 centimetres away. They keep wrapping to the right. They're over. John Sutton. Put it down, John Sutton. Did he put it down in time? Did his feet go over the dead ball line?
Please. He must have got the football down off a beautiful little pass. Bo Falloon, the 14. Some try savers. Daniel Abraham, 2 try-saving tackles in a couple of minutes. One from Jonathan Thurston, and he's well in. John Sutton. Justifies the decision not to go for the 2 points. Had a bit of luck getting 6 again after Jonathan Thurston ruled to have played it a kick. And then it just took a short ball from Falloon for the bigger man to score.
Phew! That was close. I had a sickening feeling he'd just run around a little too close to the post and got his foot over the dead ball line, but they're going to come up with a try, and the Rabbitohs are all over the Cowboys at the moment. More energy, more power, more exciting. They've been bagged from pillar to post all week.
That's a great tackle, Daniel Abraham. He also made the tackle on Merritt when he made the break previous. And that was Ben Harris, sorry, not Thurston. And now look at the little short ball off the shoulder here. Just open it up, shape the pass wide. You can see the reaction from the centre. Drawn out wide. And John Sutton strolled through. Got close to the line, but not close enough.
Well, that was great. It wasn't such a great couple of sets of 6. They got tackled on the same blade of grass about 5 or 6 times, but eventually they found the gap on the right-hand side of the field. And I don't know how many people's here today, a few hundred, but they're all South Sydney fans, and they're on their feet, and they're pumped up. They are pumped.
So Luke will attempt conversion of the John Sutton try. His second for the weekend. And he converts it, Isaac the Great. 24-12 is the score. 50 minutes of the game gone. Back at ANZ Stadium, and the Rabbitohs have got themselves out to a 12-point lead. Can they hang on for their first win in 10 matches if you go back into 2007 to do your counting?
So that can't be the mentality, Ray. They can't look to hang on. They've got to keep doing this up-tempo work. Falloon out of dummy half. remain positive of everything that they do. They can go on and win this by a big score if they maintain that. They start looking at the scoreboard, thinking about their first win, the Cowboys will come at them.
So Kidwell to play the ball. This is McPherson, just on to North Queensland side of halfway. And Falloon, who played well in those tackles down there, he might have got the wrong personnel at first receiver a couple of times, and then it's kicked out on the full.
And this is what hurts them. Tackle 5 again, for no reason, trying to bite off too much, kicking out on the full, giving away a cheap 50 metres. On the flow of the game, on the body language and the energy, their home south, you couldn't conceivably believe they could lose from here.
Cashmere.
All due respect, Ray, don't you say that, okay?
I won't be saying it, but I was just thinking to myself, did you have to say that?
Well, it's the way I feel. And what I'm seeing here, I'm thinking they should go on and win by 30. But, you know, football's a funny game. Here they come. Oh, yeah, penalty.
It's against McPherson for holding Southern down.
So that's a momentum killer. You kick out on the full, you're on top, kick out on the full, give away a penalty. Look where the Cowboys are now.
So Thurston on the opposition 20-metre line. It's gone to Cashmere. So he plays the ball 10 metres away from the line. Watts for Thurston for Southern. And Southern in front of goal at the Southern end. Watts again. They're 5 out. Webb gets a pass for Abraham. And Daniel is tackled a couple of metres out from the line. They're over on the western side. Smith behind Webb, long for Bowen, then to Thurston, now for Cashmere, and he's tackled 9 metres away from the line. 4 tackles gone. Anthony Watts again, a dummy half. Now for Bowen. Bowen begging them to come up and take him. And he passes to Ben Harris, who is able to stand in the tackle. Luckily, Vanganar went in and shut the ball away. 5 tackles gone. Bowen dummy half. Thurston at first receiver. Webb looking dangerous.
Dead. Goal line.
And it's gone dead off South Sydney, off Champion. So it's a goal line dropout.
Good defence. They're suddenly looking very, very comfortable, even on their own line. They've got everything covered. They're all working for each other. You can hear them yelling from up here. There's plenty of talk and enthusiasm out there. They can smell it, the Rabbitohs. If they can just get their 5th tackle options right and drive the other side down the other end of the field, maybe a chance. There's Kidwell. He'll be playing Friday night in the big test, Australia versus New Zealand at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 7:30 p.m. live, Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane.
So Nathan Merritt taking the line drop out. It will go 45 metres into the arms of Bowen. Cashmere runs it back to the 30-metre line and will play it 28 metres out centre ground. Anthony Watts, a one-handed pick up, a step off the left foot. 16 metres out from the South Sydney line. Playing it for Bowen. Bowen to Thurston. Thurston away. Carl Webb running at the 5/8 Dean Widders and the lock forward John Sutton. And now he's passed. And he's going to put a scrum down. Well, that's a simultaneous pass to the call.
You see now, if the referee was standing on the other side of Carl Webb, he wouldn't have called held. He would be able to see that he was getting his hands free. Because he was on the other side, he figured he was locked up and called held. That's a harsh penalty, isn't it?
So South's winning the scrum. 10 metres away from the South Sydney line. Ben Eichen on the sideline.
I've got to say, last night with the West Tigers' performance against the Brisbane Broncos, Stuart Flanagan, when he came on the field, was great. Well, Beau Falloon, this guy's just about to get a break in jersey number 14 for the Rabbitohs. When he came on to replace George Nadira, he added the same kind of value, played really direct through the middle, created some great variety with some of their bigger forwards, and it hurt the Cowboys. It was a great little stint from the number 14.
Well, it's a fair call, Ben. It's a fair call. As we watch Nadira reminding us that he is the number 1 dummy half at South at the moment. even allowing for Luke pushing out to number 7. John Sutton puts it on the left foot, bounces nastily for Bowen, but Bowen is with it, and Sutton's after him to make the tackle.
Oh, that's better. That's the 5th tackle you want. Good kick down onto the line. Now look at him rev up.
Well, he's done it both ends, John Sutton. Denied Daniel Abraham a try in the last set of 100 metres away, and that time led the chase on his own kick. And the much quicker Matt Bowen, as Ben Farrer takes it centre field, but already 4 tackles against them.
Well, that pass from Anthony Watts looked very, very dubious. It's gone away to, I think it's Vayu in jumper number 18. Here's Watts again, he's a likely type. Now he floats a pass out, and John Williams got a kick into the centre of the ground under enormous pressure, and it's with Jermaine Paulson now. That's good work there by John Williams, playing on the right side for the Cowboys. Not only to stay in the field of play, but to get a kick in that offered something, but there wasn't a Cowboy chasing down the middle. Played by Vangana. This is McPherson to the halfway line. And of course, Craig Wing will come back into the side 5 or 6 weeks down the track. But suddenly it would seem that Taylor has found part of the cure with Luke playing not there at dummy half, but playing at number 7. And while the number 9 is around, why not? Nadera. Now to Widders, up to the 20. He floats one across. Paulson, he puts a kick in. It's rolling around, it's still rolling around. Souths have appealed.
Check the grounding, mate.
Souths have appealed for a try. It's Dean Widders, but it all looks so sloppy that it would be hard to believe there's a try scored. And I don't know about this body language.
Well, Dean Widders, whether or not he's onside, he actually threw the pass that went a long way backwards. On that angle, yeah, you'd have to give it to him line and ball. He's going to come inside the 10, and I imagine now there's a little bit of a bungle back in the in goal. Well, you'd have to think Vangana probably got a hand on it there.
He's touched that, Nigel Vangana. But again, the winger did well, just as John Williams did on this far side. It was the last tackle. Dean Widders found him. Took the kick through. I couldn't rule Widders offside on that evidence.
I think they're trying to find the greatest advantage here. It's either a 20-metre tap or he's going to think about awarding a penalty, which might give them a greater advantage.
Well, I just think it's a knock-on from Dean Widders.
From Vangana, yeah.
No, from Widders there and back to the 20.
I think it'll be a penalty against Widders. I think he was offside.
Offside?
I really think he was offside, but just to clarify one thing, you saw Jonathan Thurston sit on the football. You certainly can't force the ball sitting on the football, even if it is on the ground. No try penalty is the ruling. We'll take a break, come back in a moment. So, almost an hour of the game gone. 24-12 in favour of South Sydney, and it doesn't matter whether you follow this great club or not. Just listening to the two co-commentators, I don't think I've heard them quite so passionate about a team maybe getting over the line, but I think we're all feeling the same.
Not maybe. They'll win this. They'll win this.
Well, Ray, look, I'm not here death riding the Cowboys. Don't take me wrong there. I want the better team to win, and at the moment, that is South Sydney, but they need to be for the next half hour as well, or next 23 minutes as well.
So it's Cashmere who plays the ball. Payne passes for Smith, and Smith up to the 30-metre line. Aaron Payne for Thurston, and Thurston stepping, trying to beat John Sutton. Doesn't succeed in that. Payne getting it on. Bowen puts a kick up. They're underneath it. Stacks on the middle. A chance for the Cowboys. Webb will score. Carl Webb has scored for the North Queensland Cowboys, and he points straight to the spot. Shane Hayne.
Well, it ended up being a very important decision at the far end. No try penalty. We come back out. Chasers are onside.
It's Vayu, Pete, not Webb as I called it.
The ball deliberately knocked back by Ben Harris. Good awareness there just to take the bouncy ball and offload. And he hasn't been on the field long, Ben Vayu. And he rolls across. Didn't get it down the first time, but still momentum in the tackle, gets it down the second.
Big Carl, that's one you owe me. But it's Ben Vayu who gets the try for the Cowboys.
I've never liked wingers coming in to get involved in those bombs that come down midway between corner post and upright, because if the ball does come out the back, you've got no defence out on the edge. You've got to leave that for the people in the middle to worry about, and you hold your line in case you're asked to defend. On that occasion, Paulson came running in to assist with the leap. Once the ball went backwards, he was way out of position. No one defending on the right-hand sideline. Thurston, a big kick this one to get within 6.
Yeah, he's kicking it over 80%. He does have an unbelievable strike rate with these wide ones.
He's taken it very wide, but bringing it back, and it's a beauty. How many times have we seen him do that? He takes it right out on a wide arc. So it's 24 plays 18, Ben Aiken.
The Cowboys are going to get excited off the back of that 4-pointer and the ensuing conversion from their captain, Jonathan Thurston. I think now it's danger time for the Rabbitohs. If the Cowboys pick up their intensity, their urgency, their energy, the Rabbitohs have to go with them. I'm with the commentary team. I think the Rabbitohs have been the better side, and I'd hate to see them lose it from here.
Nathan Merritt. Restarting. And identical to the previous. Down to Bowen. And Bowen's given it to Vayu to take back. 10 metres away from the line. He was forced back by the impact of the tackle from Pettybourne, who's out there. He played one game last year. It was against the Cowboys, and hasn't been cited in the top grade since. Play by Graham on the 30. It's a Southern. And the Cowboys getting a little bit of a roll going. Pettybourne again, number 17.
He came in with a big swinging arm here, and the Cowboys players didn't like it. Steve Southern doesn't stay down. He is a very, very rugged performer, Steve Southern. And I think you'll find there's a fair, well, it's more shoulder, but it'll still be penalised for high contact.
No.
Well, it will be. The Cowboys didn't like it.
Well, that's not a penalty.
Well, I think you'll find it will be, just the fact that there is high contact there.
I couldn't give a penalty. No. No. Please.
Well, it just so happens, Gus, that they did bring in a rule saying you couldn't attack the head or the neck with the shoulder. You mightn't think it's a penalty, but the rule book suggests that it is.
It's a love tap. It's a nothing.
All right, you love tap. I hate to have you kissing me.
I've got to say the feeling's very mutual there.
You're no oil painting.
That's play on.
It's play on. We're back to playing footy. See? Get the dresses off, boys. It's real footy. Give it to them.
Sit down. Put your tunic back on. So the Cowboys on the halfway line. Thurston kicking it down for Merritt. And Merritt comes out from the 10-metre line.
Well, we talk about precedents in rugby league. I hope we've just seen one there.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Tamanika just out from the 20-metre line. Champion for Stewart.
There was a video ref. Give me a look at it. Tim Mander. I'm knighting Tim Mander. He's now Sir Tim Mander.
Shannon McPherson a problem in back play as Luke finds Kidwell on the fringe. Got a shoulder problem, the interchange player. 4 tackles now against South.
Kidwell played it back. Look at Nadira. They can't pick 17 and leave him out in future, even with Craig Wing back. Now they kick down the park. Williams floats a pass over for Bowen, who's in this game with the injured knee. McPherson comes off for the Rabbits. We haven't seen the electric Matt Bowen today. He's done his best to be a contributor, but the flashiness hasn't been there from Bowen. Payne, a show and a give on the second occasion to Cashmere. A flick out the back for Payne. Gets the ball away as he's smothered in the tackle. Smith cleans it up, but they go back to go forward. And he's put away by Pettybourne and Ridders. 6 points the difference. South Sydney got it from 6 points out to 12 in the second half. Now it's back to 6. Payne, Thurston puts a kick in. Here's Merritt across, and he cleans it up with Mark Henry right on top of him, and Merritt is injured. So we'll take a break and come back in just a moment. Back at the stadium here at Homebush. South Sydney hanging on to a 6-point lead. And this was the incident that Nathan Merritt could not play the football. He might have got a knee in the head. He immediately clutched at his forehead.
Yeah, I think it was the hand of the tackler coming across, Ray, just completely accidental. Seen that happen a few times. He's still having a bit of trouble with his vision.
Now Pettybourne tackled on the 40-metre line. 5 tackles gone against the South Sydney side. The kick from Adera straight to Bowen. It was never very far off the ground. Over for John Williams, and Williams was able to get it almost to the 40-metre line, his own end of the park. And we're looking at about 15 minutes of this game to go. So a mile of time there for the Cowboys to come back. Justin Smith on the halfway line. Tackled by Stewart and Champion. Payne. 21 is Daniel Abraham. He's met by Pettybourne, Manakafoa and Kidwell. And held down. He plays it now for Payne to show it to Southern and then take the tackle of Kidwell and Pettybourne.
That was great marker defence there. They didn't take the dummy.
Now to Vayu, who got that last try. Now for Thurston. Thurston across and behind, a decoy, then to Abraham. He floats it over. Williams goes infield and away from that sideline. And he'll play it on 5, 8 metres out from the line. Thurston goes wide quickly to Bowen. Bowen goes on to Ben Harris. It's not knocked on, it went back off Bowen. Scooped up and given back to the fullback again. A kick comes off the Rabbits. No, it wasn't played out, and he's giving possession to South Sydney. So a penalty goes to South now against the Cowboys markers for not being direct.
And up go the South Sydney supporters again. It was a great set of 6 in defence. 14.5 minutes left on the clock, 6 the difference. Mum just yelled out, dinner's ready, and the players have said next try wins. I reckon who scores the next try will get this.
And Matt Bowen really struggling out there. He's actually moved himself onto the left wing and pushed Mark Henry back to fullback. If it is a Cowboys try, it could be golden pointing.
Well, dinner's going to get cold, Peter. Now Manakafoa for Asatasi. Reeling and spinning down to the 30-metre line. He will play it back for Nadera. Goes to John Sutton immediately. And Sutton is held upright. And Daniel Abraham goes in to make sure that he finds the ground and slows the procedure down. George Nadera goes across. And through Widders, it's gone to Luke. And now it's come back for Longo. And he'll play the ball 12 metres out in front of the uprights. For Nadera. To go to Isaac Luke again, a little kick, beautifully taken there by Ben Farah. Didn't quite have enough pepper on it. Cashmere.
Gee, that's a good tackle on Cashmere. It was Bunganar and Luke driving him backwards. It's Vayu. Let's have a look at this shot. That's a great tackle.
So Graham tackled on the 30-metre line as Mark Henry takes a dummy half run. A run that gave him 12 more metres. So Aaron Payne playing it over on the eastern side. And it's come back for Dean Widders to pick up the ball for South Sydney, and now it's for John Sutton. He beats one, he's still going. Sutton, he's going for the corner, he's going to make it. John Sutton scores his second try of the day.
That'll be tackle one. Just make
They
sure there
want to
wasn't
have a look
offside
at it.
there, mate, please.
We're going back to see if there was an offside on the rebound from the kick. We're side on, and it did look to be okay. But John Sutton, he's been their best this afternoon. Certainly been the harder player for the opposition to contain, and that's fine. Dean Widders was behind his fellow player. He touched the football, and then the step in and away. Justin Smith, not a speech to chasing, and John Sutton gets to the corner, and from his reaction, you can see how much getting that try and putting his team in front means.
Well, talk a lot of things about City Country and what benefit it plays in the game. You can't tell me it hasn't played some part in the performance here of John Sutton today. To go into that game, to be selected, play with the great players in the game, score a try, come back to his club today, and he's been so composed and so dangerous. And as a back rower, to run 45 metres to score a try that could give your team the game. Just watch the determination. Right foot step, get out of him away. Now he surges, pushes away again from Justin Smith and races in to score the try. Starts serving up Denham. We're coming home with the 2 points.
Yeah, that's his third try in the two matches we've talked about. A couple today, one on Friday.
And sorry, Ray, to get a charge down on a kick like that, it means that you're putting pressure on the opposition players. Last tackle late in the game, Jonathan Thurston, he was forced into that, kicked it into them. Roy Asatasi led the way. And the fact that they're in the face of Thurston last tackle late in the game shows that South Sydney are doing the little things right. Isaac Luke now, he's hit them beautifully, but he won't get a tougher one than this. Doing well to get that in the field of play. 23 metres out. As you can see, he's on the sideline. It's not coming back quickly enough. In fact, he only just had a little draw on it. But South Sydney are out of the clutches at the moment. They're out to a 10-point buffer. Russell Crowe, apparently he walked into the ground to watch his beloved in the flesh for the first time in many, many weeks. And the moment he walked in, they scored their first try of the afternoon. He looks like he might have been eating some of those Garlow's pies. He's been a good paddock, hasn't he?
I reckon that Sean Garlick's feeding him on pies in America.
Yeah, he had to put weight on for a roll over there at Hollywood, I think. But it is the first game he has attended this year. How ironic if the Rabbitohs get their first win of the season. And as you say, the moment he walked in, they scored their first try in the 12th minute to Bow Champion to level the scores.
Asatasi.
Got a couple of mates of mine who reckon that they're trying out for a roll somewhere. They put somewhere.
There's always a place for big men in the movies, don't worry.
Waiting for their break, they are.
Stewart. Hope he hasn't been drinking over there, Russell. So Isaac Luke drives it down to John Williams. And Williams comes back to the 30-metre line and is wrapped up by John Sutton. 10 points the margin in favour of South Sydney. Ball play by Graham. Now it's from Payne. It's gone on to... It is Carl Webb, isn't it? Yes. On the 40-metre line. Payne again. Bowen gives him a call and goes darting around to the blind side before the ball finishes up with Daniel Abraham. Played back for Graham, and Graham goes on to Smith, who goes on to Thurston. The ball is with Bayou, and he's 21 metres away from the South Sydney line. 28 plays 18. And it's with Thurston. He puts a kick in, and Merritt's going to take it dead. And he wasn't going to take any chances with anything fancy, Nathan Merritt.
That's lovely play, particularly the fact that Thurston passed it, knowing he was going to get the ball back, and then he knew he had to kick because it was the last play. It was a lovely little interchange of passing and a good play on the last play to get it back. Centenary Test. Friday night, Australia versus New Zealand at the Sydney Cricket Ground, live in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. the Kangaroos and the Kiwis, and there's the Gladiator.
Maximus, well done. Thank you.
You're good.
We've been in tune with him since State of Origin. We're mates. We talk all the time. Ring him up in Hollywood and talk to him. Now, I call him Maximus. He calls me Mixomatosis. Now it's Bayou.
Oh, don't mention that around a Rabbitohs game if you don't mind.
22 metres out from the line. This is Ben Harris. Payne towards centre ground. A couple of decoy runners in front of the pass to Thurston. Back to Bowen. Well read, Bo Champion. He's gambled a few times, Champion, today. He's come in, swatting attackers. He's left the... Oh, Williams light-footed it down the sideline to score. So it's not over yet. 8 minutes to go, 28 to 22, and the kick to come.
And the smart teams attack down the side when a centre does get involved. That's Bo Champion coming in. Now the smart players know that if Champion's there, he's not back out where he normally is. And then they put on a nice little play. Decoy. They got the winger to come in. He needed to stay out. And John Williams had a saloon passage down the side. They had the numbers. But the number 2, Tamanika, came in when not needed to.
Well, they've tried that play, I reckon, a dozen times today down that right-hand corridor, and that's the first mistake the Rabbitohs have made. John Williams has got them within 6, and Thurston with a big kick from the right-hand touchline this time. He just kicked one from the other side of the field, just to get within 4, which means a converted try between now and full time would give the Cowboys a last-ditch victory.
2 metres in, 26 metres out from the western side. John Thurston, twice the player of the year. Hits it, and it's coming in! It's there! It's a wonderful goal! Kicked by Jonathan Thurston. Ben Ikin sideline.
Well, I tell you what, Rabs, with only a few minutes left in this game, you just cannot write off a North Queensland Cowboys side as we see this try with Jonathan Thurston, Matt Bowen and Aaron Payne on the field. They're some of the most exciting footballs we'll ever see. Look at him. The Gladiator thinks he's gone off too early. The Cowboys are very much still in this. This one's going to go right down to the wire. Have a look at the coach. He's into it too.
So Nathan Merritt to restart.
Mum better put dinner back in the microwave. We're going to be a while longer.
You lost your confidence in a hurry. Here's Bayou.
Getting nervous now.
12 out from his own line. Now Carl Webb trying to crack through, and he might as well say he did. To the 30-metre line, the Cowboys off quick play the balls, making metres. This is Anthony Watts, played for the dummy half Payne to go up towards halfway. So both dummy halves are on the park at the same time. And it's Bayou to the 40-metre line. South Sydney, all hands on deck. They're coming. The Cowboys are riding in. And this is going to go dead.
Only just. Cowboys, the Rabbitohs, 5 minutes to survive. They've come so far. Repeating, no wins so far this season. They're none. No wins after 7 rounds.
Get away with that one.
Yes, he was.
Satasi.
Satasi not entitled to do what he did. And they would have been well within their rights to give a penalty to the Cowboys. His Champion looking for the ground, happy to surrender. Just outside the 40-metre line, Merritt for Asatasi. Now it's Isaac Luke. Thought about a pass to Thalongo. Changed his mind, plays it on halfway. Now one of the elder statesmen comes in for a settler from dummy half, Nigel Vungana. It's the last tackle for the Rabbits. And Luke puts it down the throat of Bowen, who spills it. Luke chases the ball with Henry. Knocked on by the Cowboys. boys.
Always travelling forward.
Now, I thought it was a knock-on. Shane Hayne ruled knock back. His initial signal was knock back, and then I think his touch judges corrected him. The moment that Webb played at the ball and missed, you'll see Shane Hayne, yes, knock back, he says in the distance. Let's see if we can see it from high and above. He knocks the ball, come off him, and his ball went backwards off his legs. But I think the initial knock on was correct.
There may have been some grounds to think there might have been 2 knock-ons. I'm not sure which one the touch judge was talking about.
With Mark Henry coming
Exactly.
in.
I thought Mark Henry might have knocked it on, which would have been on the blind side of the referee. Let's go back to the action. 28. Plays 24. With South Sydney looking for their first win in 10 games. Stewart, 2 metres out from the line. Nadera across. They're almost too frightened to pass. Merritt scampers in. Merritt spins it away to Isaac Luke. Luke coming around on an arc, looking for a gap to present. Nadera goes behind Stewart to Widders to Merritt. Wonderful hands from Merritt. And he's taken and put the ground on tackle 5. 3 minutes of the game remaining. Champion, the pass, way back for Widders. Widders puts a kick in and it goes over the sideline.
Good boy. Smart stuff from Dean Widders there. It was a terrible pass out of dummy half, and he really could have made a meal of this if he tried for too much. But experience told him just to get it out over the sideline. They're tense up there in the Rabbits Warren. That's the elite Rabbits Warren up there. That's where the... Although they eat pies up there, I'm told.
Well, we've got under 3 minutes to go here now, and that means South Sydney probably not required to do any more than 18 to 24 tackles. And that's the way they've got to break it down. Don't need to score any more points. They keep their line intact, they win the game.
2 3/4 minutes to go. 4 points in it. The Rabbitohs in front of the Cowboys, looking for their 3rd win consecutively against the Cowboys. Ben Farah, tackle just outside the 30-metre line. Here's Watts, and Anthony Watts will be made to play the ball. That's 4 tackles gone for the Cowboys. Hay, it goes over now to Ben Harris. Harris comes back, and reeling, I thought he might have passed, but he's put away by Dean Widders. They're 40 metres out, Thurston wanting the ball. He goes to the short side, he puts a kick in, but it's read by Jermaine Paulson. He beats Thurston, brings it back to the 30-metre line. He beats another, he gets it away, and this is Manakafoa up to the 40-metre line.
Well, his last 3 kicks, Jonathan Thurston, have all been shockers. One Johnny Sutton scored off, the other one went dead, and that one was a chip kick to nowhere. They've got flustered, the Cowboys.
1 minute and 40 seconds to go now. Champion to play the ball. Vanganar from dummy half, hopping over the 40-metre line. Nadera a run from dummy half, and still going inside the 20. Nathan Merritt to dummy half on the last tackle. Sutton, he punches it hard. Dead in goal, so it's a 20-metre restart for the Cowboys.
He wanted the sideline.
Yeah, right. The football gods aren't this cruel. There's only a minute to go. The football gods cannot take it off them now, surely.
Play by Watts. Farah passing to Thurston. Shows it twice. Gives it wide. Graham hit in a crunching tackle from Tamanika. And the bench, they don't need any chairs. They can't possibly sit down. They're riding this one right out. Vayu on the 40-metre line. Payne is with it, round the corner, round the face of the man who played the ball. Anthony Watts, desperate to get rid of the ball. Payne onto Thurston. Thurston running along the 40-metre line, linking up with Carl Webb. He comes back, retraces his steps. Then the ball goes to Watts, a little chip over the top, and it's gone into touch off the Cowboys. So the scrum will pack but the South Sydney Rabbitohs certainly look like they're going to get home now. There's the siren. It is over. South Sydney have broken through. Winless in 2008. Their first win in their last 10 competition matches. 28 plays, 24 at the final hooter in favour of South Sydney. 2 tries, Bo Champion. 2 tries, John Sutton. Vangana a try. And 5 tries for the Cowboys. A tremendous effort by these players that have been under the pressure they have since they played Brisbane 9 days ago. Pressure that has been well documented over the last 6 and 7 days.